I've been seeing these Korean cream cheese and garlic buns a lot on the internet lately, so naturally I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I'm always up for trying new things. I can tell you they are definitely worth a try. They're super soft and creamy on the inside, and garlicky and crusty on the outside. And they're quite easy to make as well. So if you want to learn how to make them, keep watching. And as always, you'll find all the little details down in the description box. But let's start with the equipment. You'll need a tray with some non-stick paper, a bowl, scraper, scales. You'll need a temperature probe, ideally a serrated knife for cutting your buns, a little pot to melt your butter. You'll need a whisk and a piping bag. Now on to the ingredients. Need some flour, some milk, you'll need some yeast, salt and sugar, some softened butter and an egg. This is for the dough. For the filling, we'll use some cream cheese and some grated cheddar. And then for the garlic butter, you'll need some more butter, an egg, some chopped herbs and some garlic. So let's begin by making the dough. Get your bowl, add your milk, the egg, the salt, sugar, yeast and the butter. I'm using a cold egg and cold milk because my kitchen is quite warm and my hands are really warm, so I don't want my dough to overheat while I'm kneading it. If your kitchen is cold, you might want to warm up your milk a little bit. But in any case, once you have all the ingredients in the bowl, give them a good whisk. And then lastly, add the flour. Now get your scraper and give the dough a good mix until everything's well combined. You want to mix it in the bowl until you don't see any more dry flour. You start with a scraper and then continue on with your hand. Mixing everything in a bowl first will make the job a lot less messy. Now once you're happy with that, tip your dough out on the table. We can start working it. This is a relatively dry dough, so we'll use a regular kneading method. What I like to do is press down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, and using the fingers of my left hand, I fold a piece of dough under the heel of my right hand. I turn and repeat. This will not take you more than 5 minutes. It's quite quick and easy. And once your dough is nice and smooth, collect it up into a ball, tighten it against the table a little bit, and when you get it in the bowl for its first proof, make sure to take the temperature. Around 25 degrees Celsius or 77 Fahrenheit would be perfect. Now cover it up and leave it to proof for 45 minutes. If your dough is cooler, you might want to do this for longer. If it's warmer, then do it for less time. In any case, after the first proof, we'll give it a fold. Folding is a great way for punching down your dough, equalizing the temperature in it, and also creating extra strength. If you want to learn more about folding, click the link in the top right corner. Now to perform a fold for this dough, I'll place it smooth side down, flatten it out, fold the edges over each other, fold the top down, turn it, and then fold the bottom over as well. Then turn it smooth side pointing up again, tighten it against the table, then we get it back into the bowl. That's the fold. Easy, right? Now it's been 45 minutes of proofing, we'll cover it up again and we'll leave it for 45 more minutes. It will be a total of an hour and a half for bulk fermentation. And the dough should have puffed up considerably during this time. And this looks about right. So now we can divide it. I like to use my scraper. Release the dough from the bowl, get out on the table, get your scales, weigh the dough, and then divide it into 4 equal pieces. You could eyeball it, but then you risk having different sized buns. But whatever you do, after dividing, we need to pre-shape. Pre-shaping your dough is quite simple. Take a piece of dough, place it smooth side down, flatten it out a bit, and then fold the edges over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started. Make sure the dough ball is nice and tight, flip it smooth side up again, tighten it against the table, seal up the bottom, and that's your pre-shape done. And then repeat with the remaining pieces of dough. Now after pre-shaping, we need to rest the dough before its final shape. During the resting period, the dough balls will get another chance to rise a little bit more, and also the gluten will relax, which will make it a lot easier to do the final shaping. So 30 minutes later, the dough balls have risen and they're ready for the final shape. So the final shape is exactly the same as the pre-shape. Take your dough ball, place it smooth side down on your table, flatten it out a bit, then fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started and until the dough ball is nice and tight. Then flip it smooth side up, tighten it against the table, then seal up the bottom. On the tray it goes. That's it, done. And if you mess up one, you got 3 more to practice on. Make sure to leave enough space between them, you don't want them to stick together. Easy as that. Now we can cover them up, leave them for their final proof. We want them to almost double in size. So we'll leave them to proof for at least 1 hour. During this time, you can preheat your oven to 180 degrees C, no fan. So it's been 1 hour, looks like they've risen nicely. Let's get them in the oven, just as they are. Took around 23 minutes to bake them. Make sure the bottoms are done, if not then flip them upside down for a couple of minutes. And that's the bun part of the operation. Quite easy, right? And the buns themselves are good enough on their own, but there are a couple more steps to take. So leave them on the side to cool down, and whilst they are cooling, you can make the filling. I'm using cheddar and cream cheese. The original ones have only cream cheese. I wanted to add that little stretch, a little bit more flavor. But it's up to you, you can do just cream cheese if you want. In any case, pop it into a piping bag, leave it on the side. It's a good idea to place your piping bag in a jar or in a glass so it stands up whilst you are filling it, make it easier. And once that's ready, wrap it up, leave it on the side, and we can get on with making the garlic butter. Now make sure your butter is just molten, you don't want it to be hot, no more than 50 degrees Celsius. Now add the herbs, the garlic, crack the egg in, and also a couple pinches of salt. I've seen recipes using sugar and condensed milk, but I don't get that. You want sugar with cheese and garlic? Just sounds weird. Anyway, you can do that, it's up to you. Main thing is, give it a good whisk, and your sauce should be nice and thick. Now get the buns, and we'll cut them. Use a serrated knife for best results. Get a nice clean cut. I think the original ones are cut into 6, but these buns were not that big, so I cut them into 4. I'll spread them out a little bit to make the filling easier. Get your piping bag and just pipe in the filling. You don't want too much in there, the cream cheese is quite rich. Just spread the cuts apart with your fingers and do a couple of lines of the cream cheese filling in each cut. You want to portion it so that you can fill up all the buns and have just a little bit left over. We'll use the last little bit to do a little dot on the top. Or you can fill it all inside, it's up to you. In any case, now is dipping time. So I'm going to use some tongs, you can use a slotted spoon, you could even use your hands. But for the sake of not being too messy on video, I'll just use the tongs. So just take the buns one by one, dip them in the filling, roll them around, make sure they soak up all that nice garlic butter. And be sure to handle them gently. It'll be nothing worse than coming this far and then messing them up. So once they've been all dipped and back on the baking sheet, you can top them with the remaining garlic butter. This is definitely not a recipe for when you're on a diet. Super buttery, fatty, rich goodness. And to finish them off, just pipe on the remaining cream cheese filling. Now get them back in the oven for 10 more minutes. And that's the Korean cream cheese and garlic bun. I hope I did it justice, they were quite nice. Although they ended up looking a bit wonky. But I'm happy with that, it's my first time making these. They tasted absolutely amazing. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, write them down in comments. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. I post twice a week, I got recipes on Wednesday, bread baking principles on Sunday. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.